Let's see. Okay, OBS is picking up my mic. It is not yet picking up any game audio. That will probably be because the game is not giving any audio yet. Hey! We have a human in the chat. Yes, I am currently getting my stuff pulled up to run the water mission. Are you what's your RPO if you have one? I think I probably set it to too high of a latency, which is probably a good thing for my recording, but it's a okay. Yes. I'm glad to have you. So yeah, my KSP is still pulling up because, you know, my computer is not the greatest. And I also seem to have turned off my in-game sounds again for some reason. Yep, I turned off my in-game sounds again for some reason. Let's turn them back on. There we go. And is this a decent audio balance? Can you hear both me and the music clearly? Are we fine? Are we good? Are we wonderful? Either way, I'm going to start pulling up the game because I can change the in-game sound balance later. So, yeah, I'm going to be pulling up the career game. Okay, so, yeah, we've got a couple of things that... Oh, actually, I was going to also go ahead and whack a message in the general KSP chat if just any random folks from the stuff want to come in, so... Let's go ahead and grab me the stream link. I should be able to grab me the stream link. If I maybe go in. Just a moment. I'm going to grab the stream link to drop in the Discord chat so that anybody who wants to come can just show up. No, I don't want studio. Come on, you. There we go. Alrighty then, so there we go. So we do actually have a couple of minor inconsistencies from Charlie's save, none of which will significantly affect gameplay. Firstly, I have the hanger extenders mod on because I was messing with something last night, making a thing I'm planning on doing in the very late game. And secondly, there is a mod that does include a couple of weird parts that I was trying out, but it doesn't actually change how anything works, and I'm not using any of the stuff from it. Probably should have gone ahead and deleted it before I started, but I forgot to, so it's still in, but we're not actually doing, it doesn't actually change anything at all. Also, I currently have a couple of the like destruction cheats disabled temporarily, and that is because the Kraken has infected the level 2 launch pad, and there is like a weird phantom bump in it that rips the wheels off of my craft, and as the wheels exist purely to get the vessel into the water, I have all the various destruction stuff turned off. Then I'm going to get it off the pad and onto the flat pavement. Then I'm going to turn them all back on again and then start recording for the actual mission. So yes, let's open up my craft. Ooh. There we go. So yes, it would, but I require a level 2 launch, and as I'm going to be videoing this, I want to keep my copy of KSC identical to Charlie's, and so if I launched it from the runway, I would have to upgrade to a level 2 runway and a level 2 spaceplane hangar, neither of which Charlie had. So in all of my various shots of the KSC, it would not look the same as Charlie's and would be weird. So that's why I'm doing this janky launching a boat from the launch pad thing, is because I want my KSC to look exactly like Charlie's. In-game, it's being built in the VAB and is just being wheeled out onto the crawlerway there, which is where I'm going to pick up my video from anyway, is with this thing parked out on the crawlerway. But just, yeah, it's a purely game mechanic thing, and it enables me to have my KSC look like Charlie's for the purpose of the video. So you'll also notice that there are a stupid quantity of solid rocket motors contained within my staging. Those are not actually solid rocket motors, those are structural parts. In game, my company has a bit of a deal with the various scrap merchants of Kerbin, and we use a large quantity of refurbished booster casings, shall we put it, as structural members, because they're basically just pipes, and they are both cheaper and more fit to task than any of the actual structural members that have so far been unlocked. Yes, it is a bit expensive. About 15k of that is the fuel, because this thing requires a lot of fuel. And another 30-some K of that is the 2 buoys, and those are sort of a separate thing. They're just sort of piggybacking off of this. They're like 17k some each. Although actually that does remind me though, I was meaning to add a couple more of the antennas. So before I forget that, yeah, I realized that for the stuff I was doing, I'm not sure if I would have the data transmission rates, and also redundancy is a good thing. So I wanted to stick a couple of these on, which does I mean, further increase my cost a bit. I said, I wound up losing an antenna in one of my testing due to the boat just going fast enough that aero forces broke it, and I don't want to risk having to abort the mission due to something like that. Anyway, though, once I actually get the craft out and running, I'm going to be switching to, in RP only. So if anybody else has any meta questions, you've got a couple minutes here in which you can ask them, and I will give you meta answers. But while I am recording, I am wanting to go as full RP as possible, because there's a chance that Charlie will wind up using some of this footage in his stuff, and so I don't want to mess that up with any out of RP question answering. So any meta questions about the craft? Also, I did not get a chance to put the University of Kerbin actual flag on here. In RP, my explanation for that, well, normal KSP does not have meta, but as Charlie's RP series does, because it can be meta to that. Like, things that, you wouldn't be asking in character, but you're still interested in knowing. But anyway, though, but I did not include the flag. Oops, didn't mean to do that. You get back on there. Yeah, I did not actually include the flag for University of Kerbin because I was going to, but didn't get it made in time. And in RP, my explanation for that is the unfortunately, I am level 9, and you have to be level 10 to actually use the self-promotions tab. So if they delete it, they delete it. And as I posted that, basically in RP, so actual propellers don't really exist. You could do a propeller using the electric motor, but that is not unlocked yet, so I can't do proper propellers. So it has to be a jet boat, because that is the least horrifically inefficient propulsion method we have so far. But I do intend to, in the later game, once electric motors unlock, download the DLC so that I can use them in my craft, and then put on a electrically powered propeller, and then, I'll probably part clip some batteries into the tanks, because the tanks will no longer actually be used. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and chuck a copy of the link in the self-promotions channel, you can go ahead. I said I would not mind, but the way I see it is I am posting the link in roleplay. Like, in roleplay, my organization is broadcasting the mission control feed. That is what this is meant to be in game. So I doubt it'll be an issue. And I said, and if it is, they delete my link. Oh well, But either way, though, any other meta questions on this stuff, or are we good to go ahead and launch this thing? Actually, for the future, I want to do a quick latency count. So as soon as you hear me clap my hands, type latency. Ready? Okay, we have approximately 19 seconds of latency, so now I know that if I ask chat a question, I need to wait 20 seconds before I can expect to get an answer. That is a good thing to know. That means that I know that 20 seconds of awkward silence means that I'm waiting for you, and 30 seconds means you aren't responding. Wonderful. So, yeah, let us get this monstrosity underway, shall we? Oh, you might also notice that this iteration of the craft has absolutely no rudder, and that is because I found that the modded aerodynamics kept it so perfectly straight that rudders weren't enough to turn it, and so I have to turn it by turning down the power on one of the two jet engines in order to pivot in that direction, rather than being able to control it normally. So, yeah, controlling this is a little bit of a pain, but only a little. But anyway, though, let's get this thing off the pad. Ooh, apparently the cheat for not having things blow up was turned off. So we are going to go back to the VAB, turn that off, and then try again. Because I do actually need to have that on for my vessel to not blow up on the pad, just due to pad issues. But yes, it is basically tank steering on a boat. You are completely correct. And a lot of boats actually do at least partially control that way. I mean, they usually will have, sorry about the quick loss of connection. The F12 key is also the airplane mode key. So I accidentally turned on airplane mode while trying to open up the cheats menu. I could have swore it was F12. Just a moment. KSP console cheat menu. I could have swore it was. Alt F12. That'd do it. There we go. But yeah, I need to go in here and no crash damage, unbreakable joints. And then once I get off the pad, I can turn that back off. Because, as you saw, the pad has a bit of a kraken hiding in it that likes to smash my vessel. So, yeah. Anyway, let's try this again, shall we? Let's see. I should be connected back up to the chat. There we go. Yep, we have it pulled back up again. There we go. Alrighty then. And now that my vessel will not deconstruct while I try to get it onto the actual ground, yeah. And you can see the wonderful lack of explosions. Except for those ones which are fully intentional. Yeah, all of the disused boosters that I have for structural components give a bit of a fireworks show when I get rid of them from the sequence, but I think it looks cool. So. But yeah, you can see it really wants to rip itself apart. Because it does the level 2 launch pad does not agree with wheels. Although why it's continuing to bob back and forth, I really don't know. But anyway, though, I'm going to... Also, why are we getting continuous jet noises even though they're fully shut down? I guess they're just taking a little while to shut down the rest of the way, but yeah, though. Yeah, it definitely is a bit better in the ocean. But in my prior testing, I have not had this much bounce off of the ocean, so... Oh, probably because SAS is on. That might do it. I don't know. What does wheel stress do? No. Either way, let's make sure that I can actually turn off these. Any explosions? No explosions. We are good to start the actual recording once I get this thing turned around, because I want it to be facing in a more realistic direction. Yeah, I'm moving it to the sea, but right now I'm moving it to just in front of the VAB to get a shot and, you know, start this in RP. Because in RP, this would basically be being handed off to me just outside the VAB. So, first I'm moving it up the crawler way back to the VAB, and then I'm going to drive it down into the sea. And then from there, we are going to go... let's see. Unfortunately, we've got a little bit of nighttime, but there's the Great Bay is here. There's like a little peninsula here, and then you go up this coast here, and there's like a river here-ish. So we're going to be first getting just out onto the water and dropping off one of my 2 research buoys. Then we are going to go out into the middle of the Great Bay to drop off, we're going to then go into the middle of the Great Bay, run the bath, and once we get in the water, we're going to be constantly running the bathymetry experiment. But yeah, and in my testing, I managed to get all the way across the Great Bay on like a quarter of a tank of gas, a bit less. So I expect we'll be able to get all the way to the river and a good bit up it, and then all the way back on a full tank of fuel. Yeah, I don't think that this vessel is quite up for a circumnavigation, but it should be enough. It's definitely going to be enough to get to the river. Just hopefully I will not have the embarrassing experience of having to hit the recover vessel button, because in game that would be me having to call a tow because I was incompetent, which I don't want to do. So, but yeah, they are quite economical, and you know, the entirety of these pontoons is whack full of jet fuel. We've got, you know, 19,199 of 19,200 jet fuel. And, you know, 3,389 electric charge, most of which is stored in this gigantic battery that is hopefully going to allow me to run the bathymetry lab partially into the night. I have to. And then the 2 buoys have much less battery, so they probably are going to end up shutting down at night. They only have 400 electric charge each, so I doubt they're going to get the 24/7 bathymetry, but they are going to still get at least a bit of it. But anyway, though, let's get a little bit of gas flowing, and I'm going to do a lap around the VAB to get myself pointed in the right direction. Okay. See you later. But yeah, it is definitely jumping around a lot. I'm betting it's the extra weight from the two buoys. In most of my prior testing, I used it without two buoys being towed. But yes, all the experiments are being that are actually Charlie is going to be also getting the data from these experiments. But yes, that reminds me. Do I theoretically all of my things like that should be set to run continuously? I need to go in and start them up just to make sure that they are going to be continuously running for the entire time. So, let's see. Come on. There we go. Oh, boo. Okay, I know there is a way to force run. I'm going to force run. Oh, boo. Screw you. Well, I guess those are just being run in RP. But that's annoying. Wanted to be able to, but yeah, though, theoretically it should be running. Let's see. Yep, we're currently getting the surface shores. I did a little bit of this one in a previous test, I guess, so it is still registering as partially done. I'm getting radiation. It's not doing this one. That's from the cameras. And the telemetry should be running, I'd hope. And then we get temperature, which is for some reason really bugged out on the interface. Oh, there we go. Oh, somebody's calling. But well, the KSD biomes are still disabled in this because I have herbalism. And hello, Charlie. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, for some reason my craft is doing a little dance. I do not know why, but I suspect it's because I have the two buoys attached to it, and it's upsetting it a little bit. But it's not tearing itself apart, and I have turned off the no destructions, so it will destroy itself if it gets destroyed. But yeah, right now I'm just getting it turned around, and I am shortly going to be starting the actual recording proper. I just want it to be pointing in the right direction first. Yeah, it would have definitely done it some good to have like some struts here and there and yes. But and for some reason it's making constant jet noises even though the jets are turned off. But well, I'm pretty sure that that I have the same Kerbal joint reinforcement stuff that's in your mod list. I have all of the non-visual mods out of the mod list. But well, it has gotten into the water undamaged before, although I will say it is an interesting process getting it there because these wheels have no brakes at all. So, and there's quite a slope down to the water, so I have to do that entire thing with no actual brakes. I have done it multiple times, so I know it is possible and consistently doable. But yeah, we're going to spend like a good 20 minutes just getting down to the water and killing off speed. Just because of the fact that early wheels have no brakes. So yeah, that is another thing that will be changed on this craft once I am, doing refits with better parts, is these little columns with wheels sticking out the bottom are going to be replaced with proper extendable wheels. But anyway, though, once I make this turn onto the crawlerway, I'm going to go into OBS, hit start recording. Yeah, I am. That is another thing that I can do, but But I probably will wind up doing that, but the only way to go backwards is to go forwards up a slope and get myself turned around, which, once again, is possible, but is a pain. So, yeah. But anyway, though, time to switch to NRP mode. And Phil, that would help, except it would be expensive. And this, I have cut as much as I can to keep the price semi-manageable on this craft. So I'm probably not going to want to add reverse thrusters. There's also not really a great place to mount it. I mean, I could mount it here, but I plan on retrofitting a cockpit onto the front, so I don't want to take that space up with a thruster. But anyway, though, we are now officially switching to roleplay. Okay, Charlie, thank you for wheeling it out onto the pavement. We will take it over from here at T plus 5 minutes and 45 seconds. We will see you tomorrow. We are keeping thrust to a minimum. All systems are holding nominal. Engaging the recording devices. Stern camera, performance nominal. Bow camera, performance nominal. Starboard camera, performance nominal. Port side camera, performance also nominal. You will see on screen the live feed from the craft, as well as the rendered simulation of the vehicle in the center. Our navigational data is displayed above and below the craft. In today's mission, we intend to place 2 research buoys as well as collect ocean scanning data across the Great Bay. The first buoy is intended to be placed approximately 5 kilometers off of the Space Center, just directly out to sea. The second buoy is to be placed off of the cape on the far side of the Great Bay to provide communications and weather data. We are going to come around to the far side of the launch pad and use the slope there to turn our vessel around to approach the water backwards so that we can use thrust to slow ourselves as needed. We will also need to use some complicated maneuvers to bleed off speed, as the wheels were not able to incorporate brakes while also remaining sufficiently waterproof for this mission. We are going to confirm that all experiments are collecting data and being broadcast. Telemetry report is go. Pressure scanning is go. Come on, you. I really should have made an action sequence for this. Temperature scanning is go. Oh, fudge. I just realized I forgot something in the editor, which means that we are going to have to go back. I forgot that I was supposed to add a couple of goo containers to this. Well, I'm glad I realized that now. But yes, I had last. I know that one of the people who sponsored me wanted a goo container for their thing, as well as I was going to run one splash down for Charlie. Yes, Big F is correct. Well, oops. Let's go ahead. So the lower goo container is there for the, yes, exactly. At least I realized this while I was still parked at the KSC instead of while I was, halfway across the Great Bay. But yes, the lower goo container is for a pressure seal test that a RPO is wishing to do. The upper goo container is for a test that Charlie was wishing to do. Let's see. Oh, I'd forgotten I had this camera. Yeah, so apparently I've got one camera that's looking at the science package and one that's just looking straight down at the bottom, which I'm not going to activate during the mission control feed, but we have them to take pictures if we want to. Let's see. Yeah, I also think that I'm going to go ahead and do what I mentioned and set an action group to turn on all of my science. Oh, really? You can't? Oh, that's annoying. In the base game, you can have run experiment as an action groupable item. That's annoying. Okay, well. Then I believe I have several of them set to. Yeah, so you can do it this way. You can go and click them. Okay. So apparently it doesn't let you, even in the editor, trigger more than one on the same vessel to start. So I am going to have to manually go back in and start up the experiments on the buoys as well. But as you can see, the bathymetry here is waiting. The barometer, a different one, is already on. And the thermometer said the same, and the Geiger counter is on. So, yeah. It is a bit of a pain. Like, I don't kind of see why they do it, so that you can't, like, have multiple running and collecting the data and causing things to, bug out or something. You can't just put, like, 20 Geiger counters on the same craft to get your Geiger counter data 20 times as fast. I see why they do it, but it's annoying. I mainly want it to run just so that I have the realistic electric charge drain of everything going at once. I mean, I know I have enough to run the bathymetry, but I'd like to have the, easier method of checking if I can continue to run it overnight by, actually running it overnight and seeing if it works the whole time. But either way, the goo canisters have been added. We have confirmed that we have, and actually I'm going to make sure that the telemetry data one is actually on this, because we have the two buoys, and if my actually running experiments are the ones on the buoys, then I won't actually be running the experiments on the main craft, which would be annoying. Yep. So let's turn that off. Then now do I have to turn it off on the other one too, or can I just turn it on here? Let's see. There we go. We now have telemetry is confirmed to be the one on the craft, which is the one it should be. And now let's make sure that these are not activated. Yep, I was right. The thermometer that was activated was the buoy one. And so is the barometer, both of which are not great. So there we go. Now all of our initialized science should be that of the research vessel. So let's try this again, shall we? Yes, I am professional. But I don't know. I guess you get as good as somebody like Charlie by, making all these dumb new mistakes a bunch of times and then figuring out how to not do them. But in case you could not tell, I am not Charlie, and nor am I even close to as competent. Anyway. So, bit of a fireworks show from all the disused boosters. Yes, I do intend to make this a manned vessel, although not because the Kerbal would be. Oh, I forgot to turn off. Yep, and that's what the pad likes to do to this craft. But yes, I do intend to make this a manned vessel, but not like manned as in having a pilot piloting it. But I intend to add a cockpit and a research lab, so that, obviously, so that it can be piloted. But the main issue is that bathymetry is not transmittable, it's only storable, which is also why I have 3, full capacity experiment storage units, is because I can't transmit the bathymetry. You have to either collect it manually or process it in a research lab. So eventually, I'm going to want to add a research lab to the stern part of this vessel and a cockpit to the front part, so that it can, just do all of its bathymetry stuff. And then it can then transmit it once it's processed it. But anyway, though, let's do this again, hopefully with 0% the explosions. Oh. Yeah. It's about as wobbly as it was last time. The wobble is just set up by the fact that, the Kraken is trying to rip the wheels off of the craft as I roll it off the launch pad. And then it just keeps wobbling because there's not, enough simulation of friction in KSP for the wobble to diminish quickly. Yeah. You do actually get similar issues on the water. The game just, it doesn't do a great job of simulating, the actual amount of friction that you'd be experiencing. So oscillations tend to maintain themselves for a really long time. And while you will, slowly quit oscillating, you quit oscillating just purely due to drag, not due to other factors. And not nearly as fast as you normally would. So, yeah. Annoying, but well. But yeah, the oscillations turn out to be actually a serious problem. What I can do is just upgrade the KSC to level 3, and then just not actually start recording until after I get it in the water. Which would be annoying, but it is a thing that can be done. But yeah, though. Anyway, so here is the list of all the various splashdown sciences. And so, some of these are actually really hard to get. But for today, we're shooting for water, shores, and grasslands, with a very small chance that we'll be able to get some. Look, actually, that does remind me, though. This is something that I plan to test at some point. I want to see if something floating in the pond in the pond at administration. I want to see if something floating in that pond counts as splashdown. Just out of curiosity. I have to know if you can get splashdown grasslands in the admin pond. Because, grasslands, highlands, and mountains are considered, they're really hard to get splashdown data. From what I was seeing online, at least. So, yeah. Just because you can only really get the various splashdown land biome data points in either a lake or a river. And KSP does not have an overabundance of lakes and rivers. So, yeah, you have to find very, very specific spots to run experiments to get those things. Part of why this mission is so valuable is because it's harder to land a probe in a river than it is to pilot a boat to a river. So that is one of the benefits of this vessel. And why it's actually, worthwhile for Charlie to, give me a little bit of help in doing this. Also, the shadows of the VAB are being very buggy. But anyway, while we're pulling around, I'm going to go ahead and get the cameras turned on. No, I don't want the booster that isn't a booster. I want the camera. Thank you. There we go. But yeah, and camera 3 here is the stern facing one, and it's kind of boring right now. That's mainly just there so that like we can watch when we deploy the buoys as we pull away. I just figured that would be a cool view to have. Then we've got the 2 cameras there that are basically looking at the craft so that we can actually see the whole craft from the cameras. And then we've got this one here that's looking forward, which is in game what we're actually using to, help steer the thing and make sure we don't screw anything up. And then we've got the 2 downward pointing cameras that are, part of the science package. And come on, quit vibrating, you. I know the wheels are probably pretty darn overloaded, considering they're like, tiny wheels meant for the smallest of aircraft, and I'm, putting an entire bloody ship on them, but yeah, I think that's probably the main issue with the wobble, is that these are like unsprung wheels. I think I'd probably be a lot nicer with, any of the proper landing gear. But that door's actually big enough. I'm just going to say that we wheeled it out of that one and start up from here. Because, like, it'd be reasonable to wheel this tiny little thing out of that door. So, I actually don't think I ever turned the recording off. So, no, I didn't ever turn the recording off. So, for my convenience, so I don't have to make a cut in editing, I'm going to turn it off and back on again. So I will have a different file and know about where to cut. So, yes. Let's move this down a wee bit so that we can see that. I'm going to leave that up there because, no, I'm not, because I want the symmetry. Come on, you. Down a wee bit. There we go. So, let's try this again. Take 2. Okay, Charlie, thanks for having the boys roll it out onto the pavement for us. We can take things over from here. Propulsion systems are go. Performance appears to be nominal. All cameras are functioning nominally. All scientific instruments appear to be functioning nominally. I also appear to have accidentally turned off the camera. Diagnosing the issue with camera number 4. Camera number 4 is now responding. We now have a live feed from camera number 4. We are now turning the vessel to the east in order to begin our journey down to the water. Ooh, actually, just realized I haven't actually turned off the cheat stuff. So I'm going to turn that off, because we're still on the tarmac. So I'm going to turn that off, cycle the recording again, and restart my emission control spiel. So, anyway. Okay, Charlie. Thanks for having the boys roll it out onto the tarmac for us. We should be able to take it from here. Propulsion systems appear to be online. All 4 cameras appear to be functioning nominally. We are receiving broadcast from all the scientific instruments, and telemetry data is coming through fine. Let's get her off and away from KSC. Throttling up the jet engines. Let's try and get a little bit of motion here. We are experiencing some strange oscillations, but nothing outside of the craft's ability to handle. We do not appear to be suffering any actual structural issues from this. Approaching 8 meters per second, throttling down engines. And at this point, we're just going to need to coast for a while. Well, that's annoying. So, apparently, with the additional weight of the buoys, these wheels are not wanting to take the stress of going down that ramp, at least not at any sort of speed. Which, honestly, is kind of to be expected. I was going a little faster there than I was in my testing, but it's annoying. It's really annoying. The wheels. Every time that I've had something on this craft explode, the wheels were the first thing to explode. Which is really weird because, like, if you look at the statistics on this part, it's got, like, a ridiculous stats in terms of durability. Like, it's got 325 meters per second impact tolerance, 50 Gs. Like, you know, these wheels are, like, on paper, these wheels are, like, the most stupidly durable thing imaginable. But yet they seem to explode so easily, and it's annoying. But, yeah, just... But, yeah. What I'm doing right now is I'm just going to slap on another pair of wheels. Because hopefully distributing the weight a little bit more will decrease the amount of wobble from each wheel set, and allow us to have less explosions of wheels. And as the wheels are not the main thing of this craft, they are just the delivery method. And realistically, you would not put a boat in the water like this. You would have, they have like, these big old cradle things that just pick up the whole darn thing and take it down to the water. Which, honestly, if I have any more issues, I'm just going to take the boat down to the water and start my sequence from there, because Charlie has said that I can do that. But yeah, you are completely correct, though. It is a very Kerbal solution. Add more X. Your wheels keep blowing up, add more wheels. Your rocket isn't getting off the pad, add more boosters. Your antennas aren't transmitting well enough, add more antennas. But if we get another explosion, though, I'm just going to leave the cheats on, which I just realized I didn't turn the cheats on, so hopefully it will not explode by the time I do, and I don't have to re-go through this loading screen again. But yeah, though. If I remember rightly, though, Charlie has said that he is fine with me starting it from the water if I have to, because, realistically, this thing would not be built in the way we're doing it here. Okay, let's get these on before the Kraken eats my wheels. Yeah, well, unfortunately, these wheels do tweak scale, but they get, like, stupidly more expensive when you do tweak scale them. But yeah, that is something I did consider, but it doesn't help. I need better wheels is what I need. Wheels with, like, gas shock amazement suspension. Yeah, this is definitely helping with the wobbliness, too. But I think that is probably just what this craft needed, is more wheels to hold it up. I wanted to get away with just 4 because, each of these things is going to cause drag. But, yeah. But yeah, no, this is actually working pretty well. And we're also getting a lot less lag and a lot less wobble. And it's just overall playing nice. So, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and turn off this right now. I guess let's also turn off the recording and turn it back on again when I'm about ready to actually start, so that I'm not, doing a bunch of recording. And let's get the cameras all on. But yeah, it's amazing just how much easier it is to select these cameras, and my craft isn't, bouncing around like a, pile of springs or something. But yeah, this is a lot more like what it was doing in my earlier tests. So yeah, I think it is just a simple matter of these wheels have a very low tolerance for being loaded up with any amount of weight, and adding those buoys onto the craft was just more weight than the wheels were comfortable with, which, but yeah, though, I will say, though, once I get this craft into the water, anything that goes wrong is going to be counted. Because, considering that, getting it into the water is basically just a meme thing and not like an actual functional part of the mission. And also, unless the entire thing explodes, it wouldn't be that hard to bring it back and fix it. I don't feel too bad about just reverting while I'm here on the shore, just driving around. But, well, that's the thing. I can't just, edit it into the water. I could, leave the hacks on, just drive straight off the tarmac, just plow straight into the water at like 30 meters per second with, crash damage turned off, and then turn the hacks back off. But I'd rather not do that, because, I don't know. The whole, we do not do things because they are easy. We do them because they are hard. All of that, If you're going to make a boat in KSP, half the challenge is getting the damn thing in the water. But, yeah, though, one thing I do want to try and do eventually, though, once, like, some of the various, mobile building platforms and stuff unlock, and, I'm actually established enough to do that sort of thing, is I'd like to have an actual, in the water construction facility, like in game. But yeah, exactly. But oh wow, it's steering a lot more aggressively. I think I'm gonna want to turn the steering off. There is it's basically a mod that does like save editing and stuff for you. I believe it's called Hyper Edit. Let's see, we want steering off on those middle wheels. But yeah, there's a mod called Hyper Edit that can do stuff like that. But I don't really know how to use it. So, But we are going to have to figure out how to do some of that stuff, though. Because, like, the buoys are actually going to be, inserted into the actual, like, game file. But, I mean, you can also just do it through manual save editing as well. But, yeah, no, Hyper Edit is a thing, and it has a bunch of things it'll let you do. You can, like, place crafts in specific locations, or even into orbit. You can refuel them with it. And I actually think that HyperEdit would be a good thing for Charlie to add to the main save as well, because it would give him a lot more, variability in allowing RPOs to actually do things with crafts, like, pay for refueling of something, and instead of actually having to, manually send the vessel up and document everything, you can just, what capabilities to do so have been proven. It would allow for a lot more automation of those sorts of missions, because he could just, hack the mission completed, charge people funds, and, be very, like, all the very repetitive, 50 bajillion people want ScanSats, Charlie knows he can put a ScanSat into orbit, and he can put a ScanSat into a specific orbit. So, if instead of doing, 20 ScanSat missions, he could just hyper-edit 20 ScanSats up into position, and then charge himself the money for it. Or for things like this, where it's not actually being done by Charlie, it's being done by another RPO, he could just, hack my buoy into position and then charge me the, fuel for the vessel and the cost of the buoy, and boom, it's done. But anyway, though, I'm going to try and get this vessel down into the water. Unfortunately, the lag is real. Yeah, I'm not surprised. My laptop isn't that great, and trying to run OBS and a power-hungry video game at the same time is, like, the limit of what it can handle. And I also only actually use, like, the inbuilt mic, which isn't the best either. so it, picks up other things around and doesn't pick me up great. But yeah, though, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if OBS is occasionally just stuttering and spazzing out on me. Oh yeah, this laptop is, I think, like, it was a good laptop 5 or 6 years ago when I got it, but now it's like a below standard graphics card. It's an old 6th gen i7 processor. It's, I mean, pulling up the task manager. Actually, surprisingly, my GPU is only running at like, oh, nope, never mind. It just spiked up to like 60s and 70%. But yeah, I mean, KSP is eating like 50% of my RAM and 50% of my GPU and between 20 and 40% of my CPU. Yeah, mine's it's a bit better than the integrated GPU. It has one of those as well, but it also does have a separate card, which is one of the good things about it, But it is an older card, So the vast majority of modern games do not run particularly well on my card. Yes, this laptop cost its original base price was $1,000, but we got it on a Black Friday discount sale 4 or 5 years ago. So back then it was like the bottom of what you could actually consider to be a gaming laptop. Like, it was right on that border where, is it a gaming laptop or is it just a particularly good regular laptop? But nowadays it is decidedly not a proper gaming laptop. It's not good enough for that anymore. But it is still a above average regular laptop. Oh, come on. Stop turning. I'm trying to turn you in the other direction, you. But yeah, I mean, you can see there the wheels are like compressed up into the support pillar thingies a little bit. This is definitely, more weight than this sort of wheel is meant to handle. I probably should have gone up to 5 instead of 3, honestly, just because of how bad these wheels are. But they're not exactly dirt cheap. So, also, well, we don't want to be going fast. No, well, actually, I'm going to want to be basically stopped out here to run my, handoff spiel again. Come on, game. Try to lag a little less on me, would you? And I'm not sure why it's lagging that hard. I mean, none of the things are actually maxed out looking in my task manager. Oh, although actually, speaking of some of the computer stuff though, one setup trick that I found on mine that actually lets me squeeze a little bit more performance out of it is it has the integrated graphics card, and then it has the proper actual graphics, right? So the way I have it set up, OBS is only allowed to use the integrated card, and my game is only allowed to use the separate card. So it actually winds up keeping the processes fairly separate and lets me squeeze a little more performance out of at least the game end of it. I mean, who knows? It might, be part of what's making my audio and stuff so crap that I'm doing that. Basically, I'm using like the integrated graphics card as like a separate capture card almost, or something like that. I don't know. But yeah. Although it's definitely been a long time though since I've done any serious amount of talking though. My throat's actually getting hoarse. Ugh. Quarantine's done a number on me. Mm. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and pause this here and get a quick drink of some water, and I will be right back. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try and lead off most of what little speed I have here, and then I'm going to run that intro again for what will hopefully be the last time. Isn't... Oh, wait. I could have swore the game had, like, background music that was supposed to play, but... Whatever. I guess we're just stuck listening to jet sounds. But anyway, though, let's see if whatever time this is the charm. Okay, Charlie, thanks for having the boys roll her out onto the pavement for us. We should be able to take it off from here. Camera systems appear to be go. Scientific instruments are broadcasting and appear to be go. We have firm radio connection with the vessel. Telemetry reports are coming in. Our jet engines are spun up and appear to be operating nominally. Engaging some forward thrust now. You know, that is actually a very good suggestion. I think I'm going to go ahead and remove the shadows real quick, redo that intro, and start again, because that actually might do it. Like, video graphics, let's see. And let's turn that to low. All the cameras turned off. Let's see if cycling them fixes that. I still don't think this does not feel like more than 50 FPS, but it's definitely better than I was doing, yeah. Now let's see if cycling this will give me the actual image back. Yep, and it does. So we can also See, how do you completely shut off shadows? I turn it down as much as I could in the settings. Where is the actual option to shut them off completely? Ah, yeah, I'm not going all the way back to start screen. We are going to put up with the lag. I know that might be a very short-sighted decision of me, considering I'm going to have to, sit here keeping half an eye on it going all the way across the ocean, but whatever. It's good enough. Anyway, cycling recording. Thanks, Charlie, for having the boys roller out onto the asphalt for us. We can take it over from here. All systems appear to be functioning nominally. Let's take her down into the water. We appear to have lost a wheel. But to be perfectly honest, yeah, no, I'm going to stick with what I said earlier. Any more issues, and we are just going to do the whole thing into the water with the no distraction on, and just plow into the water at full speed, and everything will be fine. Ugh. Yeah, I'm firing the recording back up so that at the very least I'm logging this for, proof of completion to Charlie. But yeah, I do have the no destruction stuff turned on right now because I have got it into the water in testing, but that's not the actual point of this mission, and I am just wasting everybody's time right now trying to get the bugs out. I mean, it's a simple matter of you can do it, you just have to be really careful, and I am A, tired, and B, there's a shed load of lag. But also, we were discussing the possibility of just starting it, like, just hyper editing it into the water anyway. And so, So yeah, I'm just gonna let it roll down, and I'm not even gonna try and slow it down. I'm just gonna let it sploosh into the water. I know you can get it down safely. It is just a pain. And honestly, I think the part of the issue is just that trying to run it with the screen capture at the same time is increasing lag, increasing Kraken trouble, and decreasing my chances of actual success. Because, aside from the times I did something actively dumb, I didn't have issues doing it in my testing. But I've suddenly started having loads of issues now that I'm trying to actually record the thing. So I'm going to guess that the biggest part of the issue is the recording lag, just making KSP not cooperate. But yeah, if it continues to be this uncooperative on the water, what I might actually do is, instead of trying to actually screen capture, just like record a janky video with my phone that I can just use as proof of completion, just so that my computer isn't being stressed by the additional load of also running OBS. Because OBS is a surprisingly resource-intensive program. Yeah, I mean, you can see that it is a pretty steep slope down to the water here at the beach, and it takes a bit of skill to get down that safely. Or just doing what I did for this run and just enabling the non-destructive cheats so that you can just do that. But yeah, I mean, you can see from how slowly I'm actually slowing down that KSP does not do the best job of simulating water drag. I mean, water physics are not terrible, but they are not very good either. And I believe if you actually go and clip inside, yeah, the parts don't actually displace water either. They just sort of give buoyancy. But yeah. Geez, it really is taking a long time to lose speed, isn't it? Don't know why doubling the simulation speed caused me to suddenly start spinning around, but that might actually be a trick for the future, because apparently doubling the simulation speed turns off whatever aerodynamics thing keeps the craft going dead straight. Weird. But anyway, Anyway, though, I'm going to turn that engine off and up the throttle on this engine to straighten back out again. Yeah, and of course I completely overshot, didn't I? Look, once you actually get this thing going, it's not too bad, but, like, it is not the most controllable craft, shall I say. Come on, you. Here we go. See how we get. I mean, you can see part of the issue is that, if you are trying to use an engine to turn, the jet engines have a huge throttle up and throttle down time. I mean, it's still going. Yes. Okay, why is it now suddenly wanting to actually turn easily? Ugh. Why are you performing so differently to how you are acting in my tests, you ridiculous crap? Just why? Okay, I don't know what's going on with KSP today, but it is acting so differently while I'm recording to how it was acting when I was testing on my own just yesterday and the day before. I have no clue what's going on here. Actually, I wonder, maybe that mod that I thought was just parts actually does change the physics or something. I don't know. But you know what? I don't have the brain cells to deal with this at the moment. I'm gonna try and diagnose what's happening. I think that I'm not actually gonna try streaming it next time. I might try screen capture recording, or I might just try jankily videoing it, but yeah, I'll try some of that too. But either way, though, just because of how long it's going to take me to actually restart it, everything, I want to make sure that that mod isn't giving me a problem. But let's see, where is it? Hmm. Is it that one? Yep, it's that one, okay. Yeah, I'm going to delete the one that I added, just in case it does actually fiddle with the physics. I mean, I doubt it would, but it might. And so just in case, I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm also going to get rid of hanger extender just to be on the safe side in case it's... If I can find it in here. But... But either way, though, I think I'm going to cancel this one for now, and I'm going to try coming back later and see if I can get it to actually work properly. So, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to try again tomorrow. And I probably won't bother actually streaming it because it's giving me way too much grief. So, I am sorry, guys. I guess I will see you on the Discord. Bye.